Well, here are a few properties about of the pronouns, and before we go to the first property, we will discuss the second and third property. We all know that pronouns usually refer to a particular noun, and that noun is called the antecedent of the pronoun. For example, if I say that John is rich, he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. So in this case here, we have said that John is rich and he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Here the pronoun he refers to the antecedent, the noun John, and that is how they are related. Similarly, most of the pronouns usually have the nouns as their antecedent, but there could be cases such as the interrogative pronoun in which the pronouns don't have any antecedent, right? And what are interrogative pronouns? We have interrogative pronouns like who, whom, which, and what. These are the interrogative pronouns, and usually they are part of a question. So when I say who is he, then in this case who does not refer to any kind of noun, and it does not have any antecedent, and this happens in the interrogative pronouns, particularly when there is a question mark at the end of the sentence, and therefore the interrogative pronouns as a rule has no antecedent. We ask just because we do not know any definite object to refer to as who owns that property. So since we don't know who that person is, we have used the pronoun who, right? So this is about interrogative pronouns. And the most important rule here is the pronoun must agree with its antecedent in gender, person, and number if the gender, person, and the number of the pronoun referring to the antecedent are indicated. Now, for example, let's say if when we spoke of John, we used the pronoun he. But suppose if we replace John with Mary, then we have to replace the pronoun he with she, right? And suppose if you are speaking directly to the person, then you might have to replace he she with you. So depending on the gender, this first person, second person, or the third person, and the number, accordingly you have to adjust the pronoun to that. For example, if you say that John and Peter are very rich, right? So here you have two subjects, John and Peter. John and Peter are very rich, and the pronoun, if you want to use a pronoun to refer to both of them, then you have to use the pronoun they. They were born with a silver spoon in their mouth. So John and Peter are very rich. They were born with a silver spoon in their mouth. So what we have seen here, the pronoun must agree with its antecedent, that is the noun, in gender. So it's feminine gender or masculine gender, male or female, and then person, first person, second person, third person, and also with number in the sense that whether it is singular or plural. So if the noun to which the pronoun refers is plural, then the pronoun replacing that noun also has to be plural. In the example here, we saw that John and Peter are very rich, and the pronoun that replaces John and Peter must also be plural. Why? Because John and Peter together form a plural or a compound subject, right? Then the next point here is if the gender, person, and the number of the pronoun are not indicated, the pronoun called an indefinite pronoun. For example, we have seen anyone can do this. So here we don't know the gender of the person. It could be male or a female, and then it is also anyone could be more than one people or more than two people. We don't know the number as well. So here in this case, in the case of anyone, we don't know the gender of the person. We don't know whether it is first person, second person, or third person, and also the number of the pronoun, in the sense that we don't know whether it is one or two or three people, right? So if the gender, person, and the number of the pronoun are not indicated, then we call these pronouns as indefinite pronoun. We always keep the indefinite pronoun as singular because we don't know the exact number, right? So what we have seen here are the few properties of pronouns, beginning with the interrogative pronoun. And then what are the properties that a pronoun must have? It must agree with the antecedent in gender, person, and number. And moreover, that if the gender, person, and the number is not known, then those pronouns qualify as indefinite pronoun. In our next video, we will see the different kinds of pronouns that exist in language, and then subsequently we will discuss each type of pronoun category in detail.